Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. Just let me be blunt. My speech in the morning, nothing but grunts. With no coffee, that's as dangerous. On a scale from 1 to 10, I rank it that girl from Stranger Things. And if you get what I'm saying, my attitude be mad flagrant like I'm Draymond. But you ain't get the picture, BFP. So I'm gonna keep pushing on you, GNC. It's like, yeah, the first thing on my mind is when that hot coffee gonna seep into the coffee grind. It's like some magic's floating on in the air. Toss some ice cubes in my cup, it's a good day. All I gotta say is that it's starting in a good way. It's time for working and I don't even care. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. Start fresh, that's how it's gotta be. Everything starts back with your coffee beans. If it's cold brew, then it's gotta be coarse. Don't get the cart ahead of the horse, start learning the course. But of course you can disregard, and don't at me if it gets too hard. When it's my time to drink, man, it's always on hand. Drink from a cup or a bottle, even a can. You never know when you're craving no hit. It could be in the bathroom while you're taking a Ric Flair while singing, ain't got nothing on it. When that coffee hits my lips, it's a seance. Feeling real super with the cape on. Anything I'll take on. This cup of coffee, yeah, boy, this is the shit. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Just give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. Just wake me up, just wake me up, don't let me down. Give me coffee. Just wake me up, just wake me up, just wake me up. Horses cold brew. So I guess that's where I talk about how we might be addicted in a roundabout kind of way, or how you say, a dependency that's in my life, and I'm proud to say it's filling me with way more energy than I'll ever need, keeping me up for things I thought I'd never see. Time's gonna kill us all one day, whether old age, illness, or from listening to Coldplay. F that noise, wubba lub love, drink all the coffee, chug a lug lug, the day doesn't.
Good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world, and welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live, the very best way to start your day. On today's show, we're talking about Skinny Batman. Robert Pattinson refusing to work out. You know, I just want to say this right off the bat. Pattinson, you picked a terrible time to make these statements and to have this coming out, because there's nothing else to really talk about. There's really no other news. So what are we going to do? We're going to talk about Skinny Batman. We're going to break it down. We're going to get into it. LB from the Lonely Banter will be joining me, hopefully, to talk some reason, talk some logic, you know, put my mind at ease, get me to calm down a little bit about this Robert Pattinson thing. So we will be bringing in LB from the Lonely Banter. I think it's going to be a very good time talking about all of this. It should be quite exciting. Also today, Chet, pause the music. Put me up on the big screen. Guys, today is the birthday of the creator, the one and only George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, man. 76 years old today. Crazy. I think about sometimes, like, what would life be like now, you know, if George Lucas did never make Star Wars or wasn't ever born, you know? The background would look a lot more empty. I would not be wearing a shirt, I guess. And in all honesty, my life would be much less rich. My life has been enriched by Star Wars. I know. Oh, it's a cute little nerdy thing to say. Oh, that's so cool, hyperbolic. No, I'm being real. My life has been enriched because of the creative force of nature, borderline cuckoo craziness, that is George Lucas. And so I sincerely wish the creator a happy birthday. You know what I really like about George, too? I haven't met George, but I've seen George in person. And that's because this dude just walks around. Like, he doesn't have, like, a security detail. He doesn't have, like, people around him, oh, I want to, hey, what's up, George? And they're like, whoa, back it off. No. This dude will just be, like, walking on by. Like, at Star Wars Celebration, like, it blew me away, like, the one that he just walked on by. It's crazy. So, I think he's awesome. And just wanted to say, happy birthday to George Lucas, man. What a guy. What a dude, you know what I mean? Can we put a little bit more chill music on? I'm in a good, chill mood. You know what I mean? I'm really excited to get LB in here and talk about the skinny Batman. And it should be a good conversation. But let's say what's up to everybody. Mike Porter's here, Stormbreaker, Crazed Panda, Jeffers, Marvel Maniac, Sam Shills, Second Street Marvel, Coachella Ghosto, Will Morgan, Harvey Miles Nerd is the word, Mr. D, Gray's here, Star Wars Santa's here, Will Morgan, Bill's here, Cater, Trevor, Jonathan, Russell. Terrazon's here? I better be on my best behavior. Terrazon's watching the show today? Everybody, we gotta be on our best behavior today. June's here. 24 Cameraman 24. Snyder. Oh my goodness, so many beautiful people here today. How you guys doing, man? I'm watching you. Oh man, look. I liked Tara's take on it. And I'm very happy to have Tara as a part of the den because I think it's important, man. It's important to have this eclectic group, And I know I've been a little Haiti on the Batman, man. You know what I mean? But, hey, that's how I feel. You know what else I decided, too? I got a little idea here. I want to know what you guys think about this. If you're watching this on the replay, let me know. And also, folks, if you're watching this on Facebook, what's going on? Happy to have you here. I would just say if you want to be a part of the stream a little bit more, if you want to get on the chat, you got to come over to the Den of Nerds Live on YouTube. You know what I mean? That's where we do these. I mean, yeah, we simulcast. I actually don't know if we'll keep simulcasting because I feel like it might be hurting our reach everywhere. But either way, this show will still be coming out on Facebook. But if you're watching it, man, come on over to the Den of Nerds Live on YouTube. Facebook hates it when you say that, by the way. They'll probably, stop this video from going out to people. They're like, no, but it's real. If you see this, you want to come hang out, just type in the Den of Nerds Live on your keyboard. And then come on over. But here we go. I got a thing I want to do. Because here's the deal. Chat, pop, stop the music. Stop. Okay, look. Guys, here's what's so crazy about this. I myself have been struggling on working out myself during the teen. Starts with a quarant. I myself have been struggling with that. It's hard for me to find the motivation. But I think I just found it. I am going to put out a challenge. I personally plan to get in better shape and to pack on more muscle and to be bulkier than Robert Pattinson come the time of the Batman. That's what I'm going to do. I decided just now. I don't know how we're going to make it happen, but I will literally be bigger and look more like what Batman should look like than this dude. I'm telling you right now, I'm doing it. And we're going to blast it out on social media. We're going to blast it out on social media. Like the nerd on YouTube got bigger and stronger and in better shape than Robert Pattinson. I'm telling you. Lifting sandwiches doesn't count. Oh, come on. You're killing me. You're killing me, brother. Chet, put the music back on. You're going to have to take it off in a minute, though, because we're going to bring in LB. Look, I don't know why these next 15 seconds I wanted the music on. Now, before we bring in LB, let's double check. Is he in the green room? He's in the green room. We're going to bring him in just a minute. Before we bring him in, I need to take a sip of my absolutely delicious, organic Taylor Lane coffee, the official coffee of the Den of Nerds Live. In fact, Chet, pause the music. Damn. I mean, I know they're a sponsor, but that's good shit. That is quite frankly delicious. Go to taylorlane.com and use the code NERDS10 at checkout to save 10% and let them know that we sent you over there. And now, Chet, how we get the thing going so we can bring him in. Okay, and now I'm going to bring in LB from the Lonely Banter. LB, what's going on, my friend?
What up to the Den of Nerds community?
Yeah,
Good
man, we're
morning,
happy to
good
have you,
afternoon,
brother.
good
We're
evening.
happy to have you. I've been trying to get you on for a little while. I know things have just been crazy, and honestly, it's probably Chet's fault, to be honest with you, that you haven't been on yet. But yeah, man, happy to have you here and talk some sense into me when it comes to this whole Batman situation. Why don't you just give us your raw take on like Campea's rant yesterday and the whole Batman situation? We'll just kind of go from there.
Man, I watched your video first, and I got to call you out. I got to call you out a little bit.
Yep.
I think you went light on John Campea. Now, I watched John Campea like way back in the day from AMC Movie Talk. So I know how he gets, especially when he's a fan of something or hates something.
Right.
So I was like, I didn't know his feelings on Robert Pattinson really, because I mean, I don't watch him anymore. But after I watched your video, I was like, okay, he's going light on Campea. So I watched his video, and then I was like, okay. You started out saying you're a big-time fan. So I knew what direction he was going to go. And overall, he's overreacting as usual. And I think this whole controversy with this thing is absolute foolishness.
Well, I will say I did go pretty light on him. My thing is, like, dude, that rant was out of control. Like
Yeah.
That rant was out of control. Like, I'm wondering what's going to happen today, because I think in some ways, you know, John plays the game, and he was going for the controversy. You know what I mean? He was swinging for the fences with it. And I think he knew that people were going to react, but I don't know if he knew how many people were going to react and how big it was going to get. Because, like, dude, I saw so many people commenting on this and so many people bringing it up on Twitter, and I wonder if he's going to issue any sort of retraction or sort of just say that he was freaking out. What do you think? Do you think that's on the table for him?
Knowing him, he will kind of walk it back, but not all the way back.
Yeah.
It was like out of pocket. Like, he was tripping on some of those things he was saying. So I was like, okay, you might say something about it on your next stream, but like you said, like he he did this because he was playing the game, but yeah, he was going off on the deep end. Like he was getting I think he was kind of getting personal with it, but in a way he's not. You know, doing the YouTube thing.
Yeah. You know what? Let me just say, I didn't know if I was actually going to go there with this or not, but let me introduce this little idea. This is what I'm thinking. I sometimes think of John and like, oh man, like this is why I don't like, because like this clip, me saying this might make it to him or whatever. You know what I mean? And like this is, I'm not even saying this with judgment, but this is just something that popped in my head. I think sometimes John like thinks about his position in the overall nerd community. And sort of like his skis or like his nerd card or whatever you want to call it. Like he is, I think, pretty aware of like how certain communities view him and stuff like that. And I felt like he almost wanted a heel turn on Pattinson's Batman in order to get some more nerd cred. That like in some way he was viewing this as like, hey man, all these people are sort of talking about this thing I said or this thing I said, and like my, you know, the perception of me is kind of rough right now, and the whole thing with Andy and all this is like I'm not liking what's going on, so I'm gonna take this position on the Batman because I think in his, I'm just, you know, I'm putting words in his mouth here, but I'm thinking like maybe he's thinking, oh man, all the nerds will get with me on this one, you know what I mean? Like, dude, they will know. You know what I mean? What do you think? Do you think that was? Am I going crazy with that or what?
It's a possibility because man, I've seen him rant many times, and like you like you said in your video, we're in a part of a time where there's a lot of rage going on with being stuck inside. So he definitely, I think he went with an angle there. He might have done this for what a lot of people call his clout, which I mean he really don't need. It was kind of left field with some of the things he was saying, man. I took notes. I took notes of your video and his video. I came prepared today.
Hit me with the notes, man. Hit me with the notes. What? Yeah, like because I guess we can sort of get into why you don't agree or whatever. Because I think we can both agree that he was going crazy. But my thing was I actually agree with the spirit of what he's saying, but maybe you don't. So yeah, let me know. What are you thinking?
So yesterday morning, I had a friend send me the article. I'm like, bro, why are you sending me an article about Robert Pattinson and Wait? Like, I don't care. Yeah. And then like, I saw it blow up, and then I saw, you know, you talked about Campea, and then I saw Campea video. I was like, hold on, this is really a thing? And then I looked on social media, and like people were talking about it, and to me, like the first thing that comes to my mind with modern day movies and weight gain is like, look, man, they're acting like Robert Pattinson is 160 pounds. He might be 160 pounds on a regular day, but like for this, he's actually gotten bigger. Like you could tell in the pictures, and with post production, man, they could make him look like The Rock in his prime if they want to. So it's like, for me, it's not a big deal, but I can understand why some fans are like, look, man, I want a bigger Batman, but if he puts out a performance of, say, Robert De Niro from Taxi Driver, and the Batman movie turns out to be like the Citizen Kane of comic book movies, I don't think people are going to be like, man, Robert Pattinson gave a great performance and this movie was amazing, but he was just a little too small to be Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Joker movie. Yeah. To me, that's just a clown movie that they call Joker. People love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, so I'll respond to that. So first, I think that's a good point. And this is something that Tara kind of brought up yesterday, too, that he's a phenomenal actor. And I think that that's fair. I think that's fair. He's a phenomenal actor. I think he'll bring something special to the role, right? But, like, for me, I do think that he needs to bring a certain physicality to the role.
Yeah.
And I know that he did work hard putting on some size and some weight going into before all this happened. I mean, all this happened, it was crazy. Like, you know, nobody was prepared for this and all that, right? So he was working, and he was, I assume, working hard, and there was a little bit of a transformation there. But I'll tell you this, man, that if you have to, there's like two types of working out, like gaining and maintaining. Right. And the third type is not doing anything, and bro, you will lose it quick, right? So my concern is that this dude is going to lose all that work that he put in. and it's going to create more of a problem. Now, some people were apparently Grace Randolph, and I wasn't aware of this, but apparently she was running stories about this even like months ago, talking about how like this was an issue. Like it's not just like a thing where it's like, oh man, this dude don't want to work out. It's like, no, the studio wants him to get bigger. He's getting paid millions of dollars to play this role. You know what I mean? You got to play ball when you sign on the dotted line, right? So my concern is that like this dude and his attitude, and look, I honestly hope he's trolling, because some people were telling me like, oh, he's trolling, he's just joking. But when he said like all that shit about James Dean and stuff, I was like, whoa, bro, like you ain't James Dean, dog. And like not even close. Like, and it's a different era. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so like I'm honestly concerned, like, you know, the hyperbole and all the craziness with John aside, I am legitimately concerned that he'll lose it. And if I can't believe him as Batman, you know what I mean? Like, Batman's a physical specimen, dude. Like, yesterday when I was doing, you know, research for that video, I was looking up scenes in the comics of Bruce Wayne, you know, working out and all that. I mean, this dude, he's a machine, man. He's pressing the limits of a normal human being's capacity to be able to be strong. You know what I mean? And like, I just feel like the disparity there. Now, I'll grant you this. It seems like they're doing something a little different with this Batman, you know? And so it's very possible that it'll work. But even in the context of like this new version of Batman that's like maybe, let's say, way more modern, I don't understand how, if you're going to go fight crime, even if it's just mobsters, how are you not going to get physically strong and big? You know what I mean? Like, I just can't, I don't understand it. You know what I mean? But I see your point. I don't know if you've got a rebuttal.
Now you said some good things, because like I'm not a weightlifting or fitness expert. Like, I'm naturally a genetic beast already. So
I saw you talk about that in a video. Yeah, you said something like,
yeah. So
yeah.
I don't got to worry about weightlifting. So I had a thought when I was watching Campea's video. I was like, okay, production is suspended or whatever right now. So let's say, for example, they say, all right, we're going to begin production again in November. Could he say, like, okay, October, I'll start getting back on my weight training and could gain the muscle back? Is that possible?
I'm sorry, one more time?
I'm saying, like, if Warner said, okay, we're going to begin production on the movie again in November.
Right.
And Robert Pattinson's like, okay, October, I'll start doing the weightlifting. Would that work for him?
It could. I mean, it could. Here's the thing. Like, it's body types are different and stuff like that. But the thing is, man, like, it's really hard. It's really hard to put on, depending on your genealogy. Some people, like, man, genes are crazy, bro. Like, there's those dudes, like, you know, in, like, Iceland, there's so many, like, strong men that come from, like, Iceland and whatnot. I don't know if you knew this, but, like, there's a lot of the literally the people that go to, like, the world's strongest man, they come from, like, Iceland in that area. And it's literally because of Viking genes. Like, the old school, brutal Viking genes that are still in that gene pool that just make people bigger and stronger. You know what I mean?
Right.
So genes play a big part on that, and that's on an extreme level, but it goes the whole gamut, right? So he seems to me like he's got a good frame. He's got a good bone structure. I even think that he's got, like, decently broad shoulders. I think he could put the size on, but he also seems like he has, like, one of those skinny dude metabolisms. So it would be tough for him. And my thing is, it's hard no matter what, but the guy's got all the ability and leverage to be able to do this. He's in a super privileged position. He can have, like, a private chef cook him all of his meals. He can have a trainer working with him, like, every single day. These are things that other people would have to pay a lot of money for. These are things that other people don't have available to them. And the thing that's bugging me is that it seems the only thing that's stopping him is him. It's his attitude. You know what I mean? So I'm concerned not so much that, like, okay, if he hits a certain date and he starts doing it, will it be okay? My concern is, can he actually make the mental switch to do it? And I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know if he's, like, a method actor or what. But I think that, like, for instance, Hugh Jackman would talk about how when he's, like, getting jacked, when he's in the gym, man, and he's, like, crushing it, it helped him get in the mentality of the character, because that's Logan. Logan's raging out. Well, Batman, to me, this is my problem with it. Really, is that Batman is insane. He's a crazy person. He's so dedicated that it's dangerous. Like, he's got that type of a mind. And, like, if Pattinson can't understand that snapping out of this, well, James Dean didn't work out, I'm Robert Pattinson kind of mentality, and getting into the mentality of, like, I'm going to be insane, then I worry about him being able to properly portray the character that I like. You know what I mean? So, like, for me, it's not so much of, like, can he do it this date or that date? It's like, where's this dude's head at? You know what I mean?
Right.
That, for me, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I also got to add, it's like, we don't fully know the context of the interview. I'm not saying this man could have been trolling or joking around, because who knows, that maybe the GQ article interviewer will come out and say, okay, he was joking around or whatever. Maybe he'll come out and walk it back and say he was joking. We don't know. But also, I mean, he also didn't say he wasn't working out at all, like, period. And the Robert on the video, on Campea's video, had to point that out to him. Like, he mentioned that, okay, he didn't say he wasn't working out at all, and he's still studying the character because he wants to bring his own take to the character, and he's looking at all of the other Batmans and stuff. So, man, I understand everyone's point of view, but I like I said earlier, this still CGI. You could put some muscles on too. I mean, Marvel put brand new suits on Captain America in Endgame. Like, things like that can happen.
Yep.
And Campea, yeah, I mean, he just overreacted. Like, he was acting like an entitled fan. It's like, look, this is what I want. You need to do this for me. And this is like, no, that's just not the way things work. But I understand a lot of people's point of views, but I still think it's like, okay, we're being a little silly here. We don't have much to talk about, so overreacting over a man saying he's not lifting weights while sitting in a home doing nothing is kind of like, can we get back to regular life, please?
Dude, trust me, I think everybody wants to get back to regular life, but I feel like you're right. I mean, like, you're right. It is what it is. Like, honestly, like, this morning, man, I'm like scouring the internet. I'm like, is there anything else to talk about? You know what I mean? I'm like, can we talk about anything? And we can't.
Yeah,
So,
man.
you know what I mean? Honestly, though, it's one of those weird situations where, like, and I've seen some other situations recently too that I don't even necessarily want to get into, but it's like, did you have to do that now when nobody's talking about anything? You know what I mean? Like the Ezra Miller thing with Flash, right? Like, it's one of those things where it's like, did you have to do that now? It's a bigger PR nightmare than it probably could have been. Because, there's not really anything going on right now. And right now, when it comes to the movies, it's like everybody is talking about the movies, and all the attention and all the focus and all the conversation is about what is being done now to make the movies and the shows, right? I mean, like, all the scoops are like, hey, this person's going to be in this show in this season. This, you know, they're developing this. They're doing that. It's all because there's nothing coming out. It's all speculation. That's where we're at. And so I think that, like, dude, if he was trolling, worst troll ever. Like, literally, worst troll ever. Because this is just the worst time to be doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know? But hey, how about this, man? What's your feelings on, we can kind of stretch it. What do you think about just the Batman in general? Because I know I've had some sort of concerns. But, like, where are you at with the Batman in general? How do you feel about it?
Matt Reeves, he's a good director. Robert Pattinson's a good actor. Like, I've seen him in other things except for Twilight, so I can judge that. But my feelings are similar to yours. It's like, I'm concerned, and it's not mainly because of who's behind doing the movie. Like, for one, I know you get a lot of DC hate, but for me, it's just like, man, they're not doing it for me with these movies. It's like, I don't trust Warner with DC movies. Like, look, you could like Wonder Woman, you could like Aquaman. Like, I don't trust them. They've burned me enough time. So it's like, man, this is one of those things where, look, I'm just going to have to wait and see. I don't care who's attached to the movie. Like, I'm going to have and judge it. Well, you should do that regardless. But, like, for me, I'm not going to be like, for example, Avengers Infinity War be going all crazy for the anticipation when I know that DC has burned us so many times with this extended universe. So it's like, wait and see for me. I'm very, very skeptical. Yeah,
no, I agree. It's hard to get really excited about these things. I just feel like there's a built-in skepticism, and I feel
Yeah.
like Warner has done this thing where they just really haven't communicated well. Like we don't know what the plan is. You know what I mean? Like they clearly want to have their cake and eat it too, but there's just so much confusion, and unless like we're presented with a plan and like how it all fits together, it's really frustrating. Like one of the things that's been most frustrating with me about the Batman has been watching how Matt Reeves and other people involved with it field the question of whether or not this is in the DCEU, right?
Right.
So, like, it's crazy the answers they give. Like, people will say, like, it's, of course, Batman exists in the same universe as the Justice League, just like in the comics. And it's like, that doesn't answer the question. It's like they're playing this game of like hide the ball from the audience where they want to like have you feel like, yeah, it's all connected and it's this grand universe, but they won't just come out and say it because they can't commit to actually making it happen. So it's frustrating for me. Look, when it comes to the Batman movie, I want it to be good. I can't stress this enough. I want it to be good. I want to be wrong. I want to walk out of the theater and be like, damn.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But my problem with that is, doesn't it feel like even if that happens, there's still a problem? Because they have then Wonder Woman, Aquaman, whatever they're doing with Flash, maybe they bring Cavill back. It's almost like, in the example of the Joker, right? The Joker was this great success, and it almost does nothing but cause problems for DC, because now the fans are like, I want to go live in that universe, and Warner Brothers is like, yeah, but we're doing Birds of Prey, then we're doing Wonder Woman 1984, we're doing all this stuff. It's like, I really feel like they're their own worst enemy, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the problem when you don't have a plan. And I mean, it's okay to start out with a plan, and if it's not working, you can change it. Right. That's fine. But it's like, it doesn't seem like that. It just seems like they're just going day by day with this whole thing, movie by movie. We'll see how it goes. That's how it looks to me, and that's not a good strategy to me, especially with, like Campea said in his video, we're in a golden age of comic books where fans expect certain things. Well, either come out and say, look, we're restarting this DCU, ECU, or we're doing standalone films. Like, pick something, run with it.
Yep. No, I'm in total agreement with you there. I just want to say thanks to Brett for the super chat. We'll catch on the replay. Back to work, showing support. But this has me worried. Still excited for Kravitz, though, and we know she's working out 5 days a week. Yeah, that's another side of this thing, man. Like, Zoe Kravitz is getting it, Like, it's crazy to me. Like, look, I really hope this dude is trolling. Like, I really want him to come out and be like... And some people in the video yesterday, there was a dude... And if you're in here watching this, look, there was this guy yesterday that was like blowing up that video, like with comments, like, he's joking, Josh. He's joking, Josh. He's joking, Josh. I almost had to block this dude where I'm like, dude, like, I see your comment. Like, just relax. You know what I mean? Like, first of all, we're having fun here. We're trying to entertain. We're just having fun. But also, like, chill out. But like, yeah, man, it kind of bugs me that like even Kravitz has this kind of commitment to it, man. Like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, are we being too nerdy and entitled? Yeah, probably. Was John over the line? Definitely. But is there some little nugget of truth there, man? Like, is there some little truth to this thing where, and like, I'm being 100% serious, man. I'm gonna hit the weights today. I might even start documenting this on Instagram. I was looking for some motivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To try to get back in shape because like my body was like deteriorated in this quarantine, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's bad. It's bad. But this was the motivation for me. But for me personally, if I got the opportunity to play one of these iconic characters, it wouldn't even be about the money. It would be about the opportunity to portray this amazing character. That would be enough for me to want to try to embody as much about that character as I could. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny. I actually heard a psychologist one time talk about how, like, we all kind of have, like, stories inside of our head and stuff, right? Like, we all have these stories about ourselves, and that's what a lot of psychology is. It's like these background stories that you tell yourself about yourself, right? But I had this psychologist tell me one time that if you literally walked into scenarios around your normal life, and in the back of your head, you had this idea that you were Batman, that as ridiculous as it seems, could literally alter your behavior in a more positive way and keep you more in control. And I was just like, dude, that's nuts. Like, that's crazy to me. I think that these ideas of the heroes, these characters, they mean something, and they have this sort of idealized version of ourselves, or the side of the self that we would like to be. And when you get the opportunity to play one of these, you have the opportunity to get as close as possible to that character. You know what I mean? In a way that other people can't. Like, this dude's going to go to Comic-Cons for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people are going to be like, you know, they're not there to see Pattinson. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're there to see the guy that played Batman. So
Absolutely.
I just feel like, honestly, it's there is a level of disrespect there. That's just me, but I don't know. That's just me. I don't know if you have something you want to say about that or not.
No, I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. Like what you're saying makes a lot of sense. You know, what Campea said made a lot of sense, but he went all WWE style on it.
Yeah, he
He
did.
cut a promo. But like I said, we don't know the context of the interview. We can't assume he was trolling. We have to take what the interview gave us, and it's like, okay, he said this stuff. But at the same time, it's like we don't know if he's doing 0 workouts, or you know, he might just be doing 1 or 2 a week. We don't know. But this is just one of those things. Like, man, I want a good storyline. You know, unless he came out as his 120-pound Batman as 6'1", then you know it's not a big deal. If he did that, then we got a major problem.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess we can just hope, man. You know.
Yeah.
And look, it would be a big win for Warner Brothers if this movie was awesome. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It would be great. And as a Batman fan, like, I would obviously really like that. What do you think about it being like a trilogy? There's rumors of like Johnny Depp coming in to play the Joker. There's like, you know, rumors that, because this is one of the things that Tara was on. She was basically saying that, like, we're sort of going to grow with this character over time, that he could bulk up. You know, one of my things is I don't really like the tech that he's using. It feels too like whack to me. You know, it feels like Punisher tech. It doesn't feel like Batman tech. But she's kind of saying, and a lot of people have expressed this, that he'll get the tech as we go along. Are you comfortable with that? Like, do you think that's a good strategy to sort of grow with him over a trilogy?
I would be down for that. Like, I enjoyed that aspect of the Dark Knight trilogy. Like, because each movie he got a little more something, and like I love that about Batman Begins. Like, he just didn't come out the gate in a Batmobile. Like, he had to become Batman. So, I would enjoy like a slow burn of the Batman, of him becoming Batman in these new movies. I mean, I try to stay away from all these behind the scene pictures and stuff, because like we all know it's not going to it's not how it's going to look in post production.
Sure.
I like when you read Tara's statement on your video yesterday. I like what she had to say. Like, look, man, he's going to build up the character. And he's going to grow as he goes along. I would like to see that. I want to see a different take on Batman, you know, because we've gotten too many movies where Batman is already Batman, you know. A coming of age story, I guess, of Batman would be cool.
Yeah. I think it could play. Like, it could work. I just, you know, I'm interested in his take. You know, I really think he's a good actor, and that's something that people keep bringing up, and I'm like, yeah, he wouldn't have got the role if they didn't have something special in mind. And like, honestly, I was one of the guys that was instantly intrigued. Like, some people were like, oh, Twilight Batman and all that. I was kind of like instantly intrigued. My problem has been with, you know, some of the designs and the things, and I'm just like, man, because my thing is, like, I don't want this movie to be this kind of stuffy, pretentious, like, filmmakers version of Batman, where they're basically, to some degree, saying, hey, all this stuff that came before that made you a fan of Batman, that's nice, but we're going to show you what Batman always should have been, and kind of show you, like, this super cool version of Batman. And to me, that's, like, such a Hollywood thing, man. Like, I get tired of that, and I feel like one of the things that Feige did correctly with the MCU was take the best things about the characters from the comics and bring those things to the screen. Now, there's plenty of stuff that they redo and they contextualize within the MCU, but at its core, these characters are the characters that we know from the comic books. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, that's my biggest concern, is that they go a little too Hollywood with it, and they're like, hey man, we gotta do our own take on this. We gotta make our thing, we gotta do this. We gotta put this nice shine on it and make sure everybody knows this is the Matt Reeves Batman. This is the Robert Pattinson take. It's like I don't know. Do you feel where I'm coming from with that at all, or am I crazy? What do you think?
No, I agree with you on that, because I always use the example of if you're working a job and someone becomes a supervisor or manager and things are great, but they always want to come and change something just because they're running the show now.
Yeah.
And that goes on too much in Hollywood and TV shows and movies. And I don't want that. I just want a good story, like a good script. And you putting together what you see on that script into a good made film. You don't have to make the perfect filmmaking. Every shot don't need to be perfect cinematography, everything. As much as I would love that, we're not going to get that. So you give me a good movie that I can enjoy. Don't try to compare it to Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. Make your own movie, but don't go so far left field, where it's like, okay, you went crazy with that. Kind of like, Man of Steel.
Yeah. Uh-oh. We're going to dig something up, because I love Man of Steel. But one of the reasons I love Man of Steel, though, is because I treat it like an Elseworld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was like I was like, this is really weird that they decided this version of Superman is going to be the one they do the universe with. I was like, that's really weird.
Right.
But I treated it as like an Elseworld, like Red Sun or something. And I was just like, I like this version. But let me read Jason's super chat. Thanks for the support, my friend. It says, it speaks to a larger level of abuse of privilege in general. Here is somebody that has all the resources at his fingertip and chooses not to engage. Yeah, Jason, I feel you there, brother. I do. Like, that's the thing. And I think that, like, I'm interested to see how he responds, Robert himself, how he responds to all of this. You know what I mean? Because there's a couple of different ways you can go here. You can, you could buckle up and say, hey, look, I've heard what the fans are saying, and you know what? I am committed. Or maybe he's like, I was trolling or whatever. Or he can go the other way. You know what I mean? Like, he could go the other way and be like, yeah, I'm doubling down on what I'm saying. Get ready for the skinniest Batman you ever seen. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And I feel
that's what I want.
Oh, dude, it would be kind of funny. I mean, it would be kind of interesting, but like, dude, I'm interested to see how he responds to it, because you're right, man. Like, Jason, I agree, man. He's got all the privilege. He's got the tools at his disposal. It's just gonna take him a little change of the mindset there. But how about we pop it into Q&A, my friend? You want to do take some Q&A with me?
Yeah, I love to talk to the Den of Nerd people. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. What are you guys thinking? Drop some questions into the chat. We will take some questions. We'll also comment on what everybody is saying. Tara says, Man of Steel was okay, just a very dull actor. Yo, Tara, we're going to fight, man. I can't wait till you get your set up and we're going to do some streams together. Because, like, dude, Cavill's great. Cavill is great. I can't.
Man, I'm with Tara. You might not bring me back. I'm with Tara.
So to speak to that a little bit. So you didn't like his performance, or you just in general not a Cavill guy?
I don't think Henry Cavill has any charisma.
Oh no!
Like, I just don't see it in him. I see a big, strong, muscular guy that looks the part, but he just ain't got it in him.
Oh no!
Like, I don't know if you're a wrestling fan, but like here's an example. When Hulk Hogan left WWF in the 90s, they tried to Hulk Hogan, buddy, but they tried so hard because he looked the part. He wasn't it.
You skipped out for just a second. What was the thing you said about Hogan?
I was saying when Hulk Hogan left, they brought Lex Luger in and they tried to make Lex Luger the next Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
Like, he looked big and strong and muscular.
But he just didn't have it.
He just wasn't. Yeah, he just didn't have it.
Interesting.
That's Henry Cavill to me.
Interesting. So, like, I like him a lot in the Mission Impossible movie. I thought he was really good in that. And, dude, the thing that really sold me on him was Geralt in The Witcher. Like, I
Yeah.
could not imagine Cavill being Geralt. Like, it just didn't make sense to me, but he pulls it off so well. Like, I really feel like he's really good in that role. So I think I think he's a good actor. I will say this, though. If it's true that he is holding out for more money, that's rough, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he needs to, if he wants to play Superman again, he needs to meet Warner Brothers in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, they're clearly not in a position to be able to be like, yeah, let's pay him top dollar and we know it's going to bank, because Batman v Superman didn't do it. Justice League didn't do it. Like, I just don't understand how if he's in that position, what leverage does he really think he has? You know, arguably a big part of why they're in the position that they're in is because the movies starring him led them astray. You know what I mean? So I don't know what leverage he thinks he has, but he should probably get over that. But Stephen J says here, what future movie would you have Chris Nolan direct for the MCU, if any? I think we need a Nolan-style Wolverine trilogy, origin and all. Do you want to take that one, man? What do you think? You got any MCU movies you think Nolan would be good with?
Nolan to do an MCU movie, man. Whoo, boy, that I don't have an answer for you. That's a loaded question. Like, Nolan's my favorite person. I mean, director.
Yeah.
I would movie. So you go ahead and answer that and let me think for a second.
Yeah, no worries. So I think, when it comes to the Wolverine thing, that's interesting. It could be interesting to sort of get that realistic kind of thing with him. But like, when I think of Nolan, Nolan's one of those dudes that's good no matter what the genre, I feel like, no matter what he wants to do. But I think he really excels when he's doing the psychological and he's doing crazy visuals to sort of have the psychological emphasized, right? So I almost think one of these characters like Moon Knight or Legion or the Sentry could be really cool, because he could do something where, like, I imagine with the Sentry, like, the Sentry has all these memories of being this awesome hero that the whole world loved, but nobody knows who he is. And everybody's, like, forgotten who the Sentry is, right? So that could be really interesting to do something like that. I think that is the type of Nolan that I really like. Like, when I heard there were rumors that he was going to do Akira, and man, I would have loved to see Nolan's Akira. Like, I actually hope that eventually we get there and that he's the person to bring Akira to life. So that's my thing, is something like psychological, one of those psychological characters with really trippy visuals. That would be sort of my thing. Did I waffle enough for you? You got.
I would say I'd like to see him do.
I missed that one.
A Doctor Doom movie.
Ooh, yeah, dude, that would be cool, man. Yeah, that would be really cool. You could do similar things with that visualization too.
Yeah,
that would be really sweet.
And plus, it could be a standalone movie, and like, well, not standalone from outside the MCU, but only one movie, and then they could build off of Doctor Doom for the big arc from that.
True. Let's see here. Marvel Maniac says, hey, guys, have you read the Reddit leaks about the plot of the first 2 episodes of WandaVision? Don't know if they are true, but they are dope. Have you read those? You don't really get into the leaks and stuff like that, right?
Nope.
Yeah.
I like to be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, I gave up on that a while ago. Like, my thing is, I like to be surprised too, but I think it just kind of came with the territory of, like, doing the channel where, look, it's what people want to. It's one of those things. It's tough for me, right? Because, like, this is why I don't cover everything, right? Like, people are asking me, like, why aren't you doing Westworld videos or stuff like that? It's like, because, believe it or not, there are a few things in my life I just want to enjoy and not make a part of my job. You know what I mean?
Good point.
So, there's things that I purposely don't cover because I'm like, I don't have to get into the leaks with that. I don't have to, you know what I mean? But when it comes to the stuff that we cover, the unfortunate truth is it's what people click on. It's what people check out, and even if they get mad about it, it's what they're consuming with the content, right? So it's like, it's tough for me because, like, if you want the numbers, you got to go where the people are clicking, right? So It's one of those tough things, but I'm
Catch 22.
Yeah, it's tough. But that's why, like, for certain things, I'm like, no, we're not covering that. I want to keep my enjoyment of that, separately. But as far as the question, I will say I did read those leaks, and I think I even commented on this yesterday, but I'll just say it again. Those are written by someone that's a really good writer, or they're real, and this show's going to be really good. But I think the show's going to be really good either way, man. WandaVision sounds awesome. You know what I mean? Like, you agree, LB?
Right. Yeah. That's probably the show out of all of the Marvel TV shows that I'm most interested in right now. And didn't they halt production or did they finish production?
So it's one of those confusing things. Like, I know they had a wrap party, and I know people had talked about how it was finished, but I think there was still a few things they needed to film. But I'm not 100% on that. Some people told me that WandaVision is actually the furthest along and like the one that's the closest to being done. So even more than Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but that kind of has to do with maybe reshoots and things like that happen. Dude, that show's gonna be great. I'm very excited for that for sure.
And and as far as the leaks thing, like off the top of my head, how many Marvel movies and even the TV shows are there leaks before it comes out?
Well, almost all of them. It's tricky because this is what I tell people is I actually think that fake leaks are good because they actually create a scenario in which even if we're all looking at leaks and talking about leaks, you're still not 100% sure which ones are real or what pieces are real, right? So, like, to me, I actually like fake leaks. I welcome fake leaks. And I think if the studio was smart, they might do some stuff to put out some fake leaks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But almost all the shows have different leaks and things like that. And the truth is, it's like one of those things with like the internet fame of it and that rush. Because I used to think like, who's even leaking this stuff? Like who gets pleasure out of like taking away someone's like enjoyment or whatever, right? That's the way I used to look at it. But then like you realize that there's a whole bunch of people that are just really interested in that. And what's crazy is in Hollywood, it was never like this. So like the way it used to happen was people in Hollywood, they always lived the way now we live if we're in leak town, if we're looking up leaks. Because that town, everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about the production. That's what they do. That's what they're interested in. People in Hollywood, more or less, always go into a movie knowing a whole bunch of stuff about the movie. Always. So this was already a way that people in Hollywood existed. And I feel like there's a little bit of that in there, too, where people are like, hey, man, I want to be like that. I want to be like a producer walking into the movie. I already know all this stuff. My friends are asking me, and I'm the cool guy when we get out of the theater. I already knew this, that, and the other thing. And I can say, well, this was changed in reshoots. This was something they did here and all that, right? It's like I feel like people want that experience. But, yeah, pretty much everything leaks, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
After the Star Wars thing, people got mad at me because they were like, oh, well, Star Wars has never, or Marvel never leaked like Star Wars. And I was like, well, you just obviously aren't paying attention. I knew almost everything about Endgame. And the things that I got wrong about Endgame were actually because I was holding on to my personal wishes for what I wanted to see. And, like, I'll tell you this, like, the video we did a video the week before the movie came out talking about how Thanos will die in the first 10 minutes of the movie. And literally, if you look at that thumbnail, it's Captain Marvel coming in to Thanos while he's on the farm, right? And the crazy thing about that is it was Al Schuler that convinced me to do that video. And I didn't even fully believe it. But he presented me this case where he was like, look, this is why I think it's going to happen. Here's all the pieces to it. And we did the video. And then it was proven 1,000% right. You know what I mean? Like, it's the whole leaking game and the whole, like, you know, I call it like prognosticating, like just trying to figure out from the evidence what's going on. The game is really fun, man. It's really fun, and it's pretty cool.
You almost enticed me to start reading leaks, but man, I like to be surprised, man. Like you said, for things you really care about, you're not covering it. So for me with Marvel stuff and Star Wars stuff, like, look, don't spoil it. I want to go see it for myself. For stuff I don't care about, it's like whatever, man. You could spoil it, you could leak it. I won't remember by the time the movie comes out.
Yeah, but you see, like, I screwed up because when I first started the channel, I was like, let's do the channel with all the things I love, right? So now,
Yep.
like, I'm stuck in this situation where, like, I will always be sort of leaking and spoiling for myself Star Wars and Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, so it's,
Yep.
like, tough. But that's why, like, when I get at something else that I really like, I'm like, nope, I'm good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and like video games and stuff, sometimes I'm like, you know, hey, it would be cool to cover this and do all that. But sometimes, dude, like, I just want to shut down. I don't want to be streaming. I don't want to be, you know, doing this. I just want to play some video games and just chill. So, like,
Absolutely.
that's what it is. But here's something from Stormbreaker, and I think this question is pretty cool. He said, have you seen the photos Charles Murphy posted about Madripoor? Yes, I saw those, Stormbreaker, and I'm actually meaning to reach out to Charles because I'd love to do an interview with him talking about this, or maybe I'll do a video where I break it down. But yeah, I find that to be very interesting, and I'm hoping that it gets paid off in that show, and we start to learn more about the MCU because, you know, slight spoiler warning. I'll just go on the very basic idea. There could be a secret Nick Fury base that is discovered in the show, and I love that idea because it allows us to open up the door to a bunch of other stuff that Fury was involved with and that he knew about without actually having Fury in the show. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's super cool.
Yeah, Fury definitely has some things hidden somewhere. He always has something up his sleeve.
Always, man. And I love the Fury we have in the MCU. I hope Sam Jackson never stops playing that character. You know what I mean?
As long as they offer him a check, he's down.
I know, right? I know. I want to see him come back to Star Wars, to be honest with you. I want old man Mace Windu to come back.
I mean, pretty cool. And I've noticed a lot of people, because I just did like a Star Wars rewatch, and a lot of people like, Mace Windu's not dead. I'm just like, well, you could do it now. Sam Jackson's old enough to be an older Mace Windu.
Yeah, man.
Do it.
That would be really cool. Let's see here. Millen says, which interpretation of Nova will be first in the MCU? Would you do Sam or would you do Richard Rider or both? So I think that the model, if you look at the model in the MCU, I think that they want to do the legacy characters and then introduce the sort of the baton passing. It just really feels like that's the way they want to go. The only sort of exception to that is that they did the Scott Lang Ant-Man before they did the Hank Pym Ant-Man. And that's just kind of an interesting choice. I'm totally down with it. I think it's cool the way they did it. But for the most part, they're sticking to the way that the comic book legacy has been passed down. So if we go with that logic, Richard Rider will be first. I think Richard Rider is like, he's a really important character to a lot of like older Marvel fans. And so I think they will do that. But I don't think Sam's that far behind, you know? I think if Marvel had Spider-Man back completely, I do believe we would be getting Miles set up, and then we would be getting to Miles maybe in like the next 5 to 6 years. I feel like what they're doing with the Young Avengers, like Cassie Lang and Kate Bishop and some of these characters, and it'll be really interesting to see. Here, I got a question for you, LB.
What's up?
What do you think about the situation with Ironheart, where it's like, should it be his daughter? Should it be Shuri? Or should they actually do like Riri Williams? What do you think about that?
I would say do the daughter. I know a lot of people hate that comic. So it's like, regardless of what they do with it, people are going to be mad. So I was like, look, me personally, I would say do the daughter.
Yeah.
But for consistency with me, I'll say stick to the comic book character. So do the actual Riri Williams, you said?
Yes.
Yes, so do Riri Williams, because like I would say I'll be a big hypocrite if I turn around and say, look, change it up, do the daughter. So no, stick with the comic.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. I feel like it's one of those things where the audience would respond better if it was Morgan or if it was Shuri. That's just me. I think that the MCU audience would respond to it a little bit better. But they could potentially do Riri Williams in a better way than they did in the comic books. There's just like some weird stuff in the comics with her, man. Like when she's, and I'm like I'm honestly like when I went back and read some of like those first issues. It's just like confusing stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like how are they? What are they trying to portray with this character exactly? It's kind of confusing. But I trust in Feige and I trust in his ability to do it in a more acceptable way. But my personal thing is, I think you do Shuri. I think Shuri's the one. I think Shuri is a funny character. She's very smart. She's already established as a genius. She's got the tech. You know, the only thing with that would be, why would she take up the mantle of Tony Stark? You know what I mean?
I was about to ask you that. Like, how would we connect the two, because they never met?
They had an opportunity to possibly set it up if they had had Tony and her do something more during Endgame and Infinity War. They, like, you know what I mean? But they didn't take that opportunity. So yeah, it would sort of be a leap. The only way, you're right. There's just no way. Like there's just no way they can make that make sense. You know, like, so it is what it is. But maybe Riri could get some help from Shuri. That could work. You know.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm pretty sure they'll go down that route of doing that character. So, like, Shuri could be Shuri. It's okay for Shuri to be Shuri.
Yeah.
But Riri, yeah, I think they'll do Riri, because I think if they switch the character, there'll be backlash. There'll be backlash if they do the character, period. But I just stick to it and create the least amount of backlash. But that'll be great for YouTube videos, right? If
True.
they switch Riri Williams.
I know, right? Yeah, it will be interesting, man. It will be kind of interesting. I've sort of always taken the stance that, like, you know, hey, look, I'm not just going to hand wave away the issues that people have with the comics. I think it's a little bit deeper than most people want to go. And like on YouTube, you know, you want to do what's sexy, you know, you want to do what's, you know, clickbaity. And I get that. We play the game too, so I'm not even hating. But for me, it's going to be interesting to see how audiences respond to a lot of these characters that are just, there's just no way around it. They're attached to a bad era in Marvel Comics. Like, even if you like these characters, that was a bad era for Marvel Comics. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. But I look, Feige has not missed a step yet. Well, that's not necessarily true. Iron Man 2 was pretty whack. But he hasn't, you know, let's just say since Phase 3 on, he really hasn't missed a step. So I feel pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's had a hiccup here and there, but I wouldn't say he's done anything that's like, oh my goodness, this could potentially destroy the MCU.
Yeah, I know, right? Except like Thanos that actually tried to destroy the MCU, and that was cool.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's see. Let's see. Is Trinity up streaming yet? Let's find out.
No. Let's see if my man Trinity's streaming yet.
Let us see. We can drop a link over to there. Trinity in chat says, "I want Batwoman." I don't think he means in the sense of the show either.
He has the link up as scheduled, so for 11:05.
All right, cool. I'll grab that and throw it on into the chat. By the way, I saw Michael Watson in the chat earlier. Mike, you still in here? Mike is the publisher of the comic book company that I used to work at.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, he's a good dude. Super big nerd. Awesome artist. Good comic book creator. So shout out to Mike if Mike's in here. Don't look at his thumbnail. Uh-oh.
I looked.
I'm going to have to look now. Let's see here. See if I can get... My computer, like when I have all this stuff going on, man, my computer like grinds to a halt. It's a little bit tough. I gotta get some more RAM in this thing. Chet?
Yeah, you do. I was gonna recommend that. More RAM.
Yeah, more RAM. More power.
Absolutely.
I don't know. If somebody else could just drop that link into Trinity's stream. I'm just having trouble pulling it up right now, but I will check it on out. But LB, as we're finishing up here, my friend, you want to plug anything? Do you want to tell people about your channel? Any good content you want people to be checking it out?
Yeah, man. First thing, thank you for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Like, I enjoyed it. Hopefully, you know, the Den of Nerds audience enjoyed me today. I mean, it was a blast.
Good, man. I'm glad that I have you.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like shocked. You were saying you want me on. I was like, oh, what? I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of people have talked highly of your stuff, man. I've checked out some of your stuff, and I thought it was really, really cool. So I like your branding, and I like what you do. And Tara is a big fan of yours as well. So Tara was a big influence too on that. So
shout out to Tara. But yeah, my channel's called The Lonely Banter. You know, I talk Marvel and Star Wars. I don't talk about it as much as a lot of other channels are because, you know, I like to keep stuff like real with facts. So I don't want to talk about all the millions of rumors. That hurts my channel, but it is what it is. I talk about a lot of random nonsense that goes on in the entertainment business and in pop culture. That's my channel. I have fun. I ramble. I banter. You know, I laugh. I'm not for everybody, but hey, if you enjoyed me today, this is what you get on my channel. And I appreciate everyone, you know, watching and Josh for having me on. It was a great time. Much love
absolutely,
to
man. We'll have you on again soon, man. We'll hopefully have something better to talk about than the crazy, you know, Batman's gonna be too skinny and we're in quarantine, so we don't know what else to talk about, you know, kind of situation. But yeah, it was a pleasure having you on, my friend. And guys, head on over to Trinity's stream. If somebody could drop that link in, I'm unable to. I apologize to Trinity, but I will see you guys over on Trinity's stream in just a minute. As I always say, I hope you guys are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you